Alright, you've seen the title, you know our topic today, Teachers' Right to Strike. So you've probably heard of something called a teacher strike, right? And you've probably by now seen images that look something like this.
It's your chance to reach the masses.
Okay, but what is a strike anyways? Where did the right come from and who's involved in a teacher strike? We're going to answer all of those questions today, but let's start with what is a strike, and let's go all the way back to the beginning of the process. Most citizens in the United States have the right to join a union. Now, unions are allowed to bargain collectively, sometimes with minor restrictions. Bargaining collectively, it just means that the union is working with the employers to get the employees better pay, better vacations, better working conditions, or working hours, etc. But when the bargaining doesn't go how the union wants it to go or doesn't go well in general, then the union or the employees have the right to strike to show their dissatisfaction. The Constitution technically gives everyone the right to free speech and to peaceably assemble. This right is generally applied to the states through the 14th Amendment, giving teachers and other employees the right to free association, including the right to join a union. However, the right to collective bargaining and to strike is withheld by many states for public employees, and only half of the states allow teachers to strike. The states that do allow teacher strikes are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Louisiana, Maryland, Minnesota, Montana, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. The states that do not allow teacher strikes are Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, Virginia, and Washington. If you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Public employees include firefighters, police officers, social workers, and teachers. And just think what would happen if the firefighters or the entire police force went on strike in your city. Havoc would be wreaked everywhere. And in many cases, teachers are treated the same way. If you think about it, in cities like New York and Miami, what would happen if thousands of students were roaming the streets because their working parents couldn't find a place for them while their teachers, hundreds of their teachers, were out picketing the streets? It kind of causes a problem. This actually brings us to another point. You've learned about what a strike is and where the right to strike has come from, but who's involved in a strike's occurrence? The answer is many people. When a strike happens, teachers, parents, students, politicians, businesses, and many more are affected. And because so many people are affected by a strike's occurrence, there are subsequently many opinions about their existence. Supporters of teacher strikes say that strikes make schools and education better for students. They allow teachers to get their point across and defend themselves, their jobs, and their rights. They help to make sure that we don't mistreat the people that we hire to teach our children. They claim that there is no economic pressure caused to anyone like private strikes would produce because the days out on strike will eventually be made up at the end of the year, as state law mandates. Strikes get information and disagreement out to the public so that people can know what is going on, can judge it for themselves, and hopefully can end it at the polls. Finally, supporters of teacher strikes say that it is a necessary last resort when efforts to produce a fair settlement have failed. Those against teacher strikes say that teacher strikes are about teachers, not kids. They are often caused by greed and the desire for money. Student achievement levels suffer as a result of their teachers being out on strikes. Working parents must find last-minute child care for their kids. Some parents cannot accomplish this, so their children are often left alone and unsupervised. It is all political, they say, as teachers are bargaining with the same politicians they then vote for. Teachers can get permission to strike for irrational or silly reasons, so long as their presented request is worded correctly. And finally, often the result of these strikes are to spend more money that is not in the budget. So, what's the best solution to the problem, and what's your opinion? This problem is one that's fairly new to the history of the United States and probably won't be solved anytime soon. So, it's one that could benefit greatly from your opinion. So you know the facts. Go and find out more and then express your opinion and let your voice be heard. Our nation needs you, so go.